Hi, and welcome to GodTalks.Online. I am Lori Minshouse. I'm your host. I'm going to pre-apologize for the fact that it seems like my computer going to my TV, there's a gremlin in the cord somewhere because it's been flashing on and off and even doing pixelated stuff. So if it happens, I apologize, but let's get started. I do want to remind you that it is October and that is Cancer Awareness Month. If there are any things that you need to do for your age groups or whatever for cancer screenings, make sure you get those done. They're important. Today we're going to talk about God answering prayer. Does he really do it? The answer is yes. Sometimes though, it can be decades later. Let's start talking about somebody who realized that firsthand, but it was about a decade and a half. Who is the king of Israel? He was 16 years old when he was anointed king, which is a spiritual blessing, not a legal blessing. But he had to wait until 30 years old to actually become king. He was chased through the wilderness by the current king who wanted to kill him because he knew that he was supposed to be the successor. Twice, this king of Israel had King Saul, the current king, in his hands and could have killed him twice. All of his friends said, go ahead, kill him, make yourself king. But this man said, no, I've got to wait for God's timing. We will get back to who this king is in just a second. I want to start and thank you for all the words of encouragement and support from after Wednesday's God Talks. It was really, you have no idea how much that means to me. I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. It's not easy for me to open up and show emotions, but I do, and I really, really appreciate it. There was also a question that was asked, and as I've said before, I will try to answer any and all questions. The question was, why do you have low self-esteem? You're pretty. That's a good question. Anyone can have low issues with self-esteem, and for various reasons. Think about the genius who's shunned in school. Think about the prom queen who feels all alone because no one really knows the true her. Think about a star athlete who sometimes feels that that's all he or she has to offer. It doesn't matter if you have a few positive traits. Anyone can suffer with low self-esteem. So why am I bringing this all up? Why do I have self-esteem? Quite simply, because I never fit in. I was always the odd person out. I was always just different. In fact, some of my male friends, and also my brother, used to ask me advice on women, and they would do just the opposite of what I said. And that worked out really well, but it was the opposite of what I said. I never really got it. I never really got women. I never fit in. I was always on the periphery looking in. Always. But I had a weird answer to this prayer of why was I always on the outside looking in. It was just 2 weeks ago. I took a Myers-Briggs personality test. It was a link sent to me by Jason Schwartz, the best friend anyone could ever hope to have. And I took this test, and it nailed me to a T. And it explained why I never fit in, was always on the outside. It only took a few decades to get to the point to why I never fit in. Let me give you an example. A recent member of our family, officially, she's been a member for a while, Becca Salyers-Crisp. And she can walk into a room full of women and just connect with all of them and walk away with like 85% of them her new best friends. I envy that so much in her. She has just that ability to do that. I would walk in, I would try really hard to connect because I wanted to so badly. And I'd walk out feeling more alone than ever. Turns out that what I believe her personality is one of the ones that are considered the ideal personality for women, and the one that explains why she can do all of that, and so easily, it just comes easy to her. I am the exact opposite personality type. The exact opposite. And where she shines like that, I struggle. And when you're struggling as a teenager trying to fit in, it's tough. Because that's when you kind of develop a lot of your self-worth and self-esteem. And it was hard. And I just never got it. I understand it now intellectually, but I don't know how to put it in practice yet. A lot more study will be needed before I can try to figure out this. But even though it took a few decades, I'm not going to say how many because I'm not giving my age up that easily, God still answered my prayer. He still gave me a way to see it and to know it. And I appreciate that. And now back to the king. Who is that king that I mentioned earlier? He was none other than a man after God's own heart. He's King David. He took a decade and a half to fully answer the prayer of his kingship, one that he didn't even know he needed to pray about. But he was king. And now, football. Current records 29-36, getting a little bit more respectable. It was a great week of football this past week. I mean, all the undefeateds went down except for Arizona Cardinals. They are the only undefeated left. They are for real. Dallas Cowboys are for real. And if anybody knows me, knows that there are two kinds of football fans. Pro-Dallas or anti-Dallas. I'm an anti-Dallas fan, so it hurts me inside to say Dallas Cowboys are doing well. But they're for real too. And there are some other teams that are surprising but looking really good. I've made my picks. I think most of them turned out to be odds-on favorites. Okay, sorry about that. My wolf got into something. Well, he's a wolf hybrid. He's part dog, part wolf. And he's awesome. But he's always getting into stuff, as are the rest of the dogs and the cat. Anyway, I want to tell you, have a great week. Join us on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 12:30. I'll try to be more on at 12:30 and try to work out my technical gremlins ahead of schedule. You can catch us on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page at GodTalks.Online. Good luck and God bless.